your news in your community. This is KRBC, Abilene's local news at 5.
Good evening, I'm Samantha Jones.
And I'm Randy Turner. Thank you for joining us.
An arrest, an indictment, and wanted criminals. Those are your top headlines tonight.
An Abilene man finding himself behind bars after being accused of sexually assaulting a mentally disabled teen. 52-year-old Larry Dosher is charged with aggravated sexual assault.
Tonight we're learning from court documents the victim, who is autistic, went to a friend's apartment in July of this year when Dosher, the friend's father, allegedly assaulted her. He is currently being held in the Taylor County Jail on a $100,000 bond.
Dosher was one of 11 fugitives Abilene police were searching for in this week's Abilene Wanted Criminals. A cash reward is being offered for information leading to the arrest of the other 10. Offenses range from aggravated robbery, endangering a child, to sexual assault of a child. Anyone with information is asked to call the number there on your screen. And
an indictment out of Merkel today. Gwendolyn Wetzel, who was originally arrested in April, accused of stealing thousands of dollars from the city, has been formally charged with theft by a public servant. Estimates say Wetzel stole between $2,500 and $30,000. Switching now to weather. Randy, the rain continues to fall across much of the big country, but there's still some sun trying to peek through in that forecast.
Yeah, there will be some sun peeking through, I think, by the time Saturday rolls around for sure. But tonight and tomorrow, it's light rain, it's fog, it's mist, it's cool temperatures. Let's begin with a couple of Skycam views. First, this is the KRBC transmitter site on Highway 36 southeast of Abilene. Over that rooftop is actually a highway down below, but you just can't see it right now because of the fog. And then out in Sweetwater, our Skycam showing fog at the TSTC campus. It's really a little bit better than it was at mid-afternoon. Visibility in Sweetwater did drop to 0 for a while, so it looks like that fog has again gotten thick out there at Sweetwater. Visibility back down to 0. 3-mile visibility in Snyder. Here in Abilene, visibility has dropped way down now to 1.5 miles. It's 4 miles in Breckenridge. It is 9 miles down in Brownwood. Drive carefully out there. 3D live radar mainly seeing fog and light drizzle over the area, but there are some heavier showers just south of the big country. Those will tend to move in our region later on tonight. Currently in Abilene, in the fog, 64 degrees, humidity 100%, and we have a north wind at 12 miles per hour. So Friday, a low in the morning of 58, 62 at noon, a high near 68 tomorrow. The best chance for rain actually looks to be tomorrow in the morning hours. Slowly decreasing rain chances by late afternoon, and perhaps a little bit of sun trying to peek through.
Randy, thank you. And with the recent drop in temperatures, we're getting a look at what it may be like this winter as the winter temperatures are approaching. The city organizations are doing what they can to prepare. With the lowering temperatures, it can make for dangerous weather conditions for Abilene's homeless population. The Abilene Salvation Army begins offering free stays during the night during inclement weather, especially when the temperatures drop into the 30s. So right now, staff have been doing routine procedures to make sure people in need have a safe place to spend the night.
Generally, people kind of do their own thing, but when it gets a little colder, and especially if it's wet, when it's wet, if you've ever had your feet wet and you're cold, that is the most horrible experience that you've ever experienced. So we want people to be in here and be dry and warm.
Futrelli says they have cots, pull-out beds, and couches ready to be used when the colder days approach. And while they have been very involved in hurricane relief as of late, she's thankful for those who have been generously donating.
And the brunt of the hurricane season continuing to be felt by much of the southern United States, but maybe none more than Puerto Rico, as devastation is mounting in the aftermath of Hurricane Maria.
The island now facing a serious water, food, and power crisis. Even as humanitarian aid starts to pour in, distribution is still a problem. Our Gabe Gutierrez is in San Juan with more.
It's been just over a week after Hurricane Maria slammed into Puerto Rico, and while the floodwaters have receded, it is now a lack of drinking water that is ravaging the island. Half of Puerto Rico still doesn't have access to water, and there's now a desperate scramble by many residents to find it.
We're trying our best to keep them with food, with hope, and letting them know that supplies are coming.
Now, this is an ongoing crisis, partly because of the failure of the power grid here. There's not enough electricity to pump and treat water. Also, a telecommunications breakdown is hampering the relief efforts. Now, this is expected to continue for months. Politicians say that here in Puerto Rico, there could be a lack of power for 4 to 6 months, but some say that the recovery here could last much longer. Now remember, Hurricane Irma grazed this island just days before Hurricane Maria, so many residents have been without power now for several weeks. Gabe Gutierrez, NBC News, San Juan, Puerto Rico.
Gabe, thank you. A special visit to the Big Country today from Senator Dawn Buckingham, visiting Brownwood today, answering questions from her constituents about her first session in state Congress. Senator Buckingham's office was a primary author on 39 bills that were passed through the Senate. She was also co-author on much of the conservative legislation this session. Buckingham says the bills she helped to pass were in line with her campaign promises and called the process a team effort.
I had a great team. It made me look good. I think we represented the district well and were able to do a lot of things that were important to Abilene and other areas of the district. You'll also find
Buckingham's office received several awards following her first session. She was voted best freshman senator for the state. She was also recognized as one of the top Republican legislators in the country. Senator Buckingham will be in Abilene tomorrow to open her district office as well as take a tour of Dyess Air Force Base.
New today at 5 on Abilene's local news, a call to action from the Texas Tech School of Pharmacy as they're taking a stand to prevent drug abuse. It's called the Medication Cleanout. It happens twice a year and is a citywide initiative to collect unused prescription drugs, needles, and other personal medications. And it serves as an opportunity for citizens to properly dispose of their medication.
A lot of people think that they can just flush them down the toilet or throw them in the trash. But if they do that, then they can get in the water supply and they can leach into the ground. Like if they just go to the landfill, they leach out into the earth. And so that's really dangerous for us.
Last year, more than 900 pounds of drugs and needles were collected. The event will take place Saturday. All unused medications will be accepted as long as they are in their proper container.
Some exciting news for frequent travelers. The Abilene Regional Airport is making strides in its efforts to make the airport more convenient to fly in and out of.
We first alerted you to this news when the airport was asking the city for some input on what they would like to see improved. And today, at a city council meeting, they spoke about how they are moving forward. And we're now live outside the airport where KRBC's Febin Casahun has the latest on these updates. So, Febin, what does the future of Abilene Regional Airport look like?
Well, hey, Randy and Samantha, just like you said in the Abilene City Council meeting earlier today, Don Green with the Abilene Regional Airport says that they have hired an air service development consultant. Now, this will help them find a new airline for the region. And since more people have been booking flights in and out of Abilene Regional Airport over the last 2 years, he says they're in a good position to make a strong case for this new service. And he says the contract will be funded by the Development Corporation of Abilene, also known as the DCOA.
What's called a leakage study, and that's to look at where people in our market are, where they're flying out of, if they're flying out of Abilene or if they're driving to another airport to fly out of, and where they're flying to.
Now, Green tells me that this will help them make the case of what airlines to talk to, and he says with about 6 daily departures to the DFW airport, he says this will just be more convenient for flyers to have direct flights to other airports. And coming up tonight at 6, they'll tell you how or what company they've chosen and how much this will cost them in the next year or so. Reporting at the Abilene Regional Airport, Febin Casahun, KRBC, Abilene's local news.
Febin, thank you. Continuing with our city council coverage today, progress being made on more than just airport renovations.
The old Kmart set to be the new home to the Abilene Police Department, and today council approved the hiring of the firm that will design APD's future home and approved a contract fee of just over $922,000. Our John McMichael joins us from outside the old Kmart with more.
Hey guys, out here in the middle of the Kmart parking lot, which as you can see is big and empty and has nothing going on. But soon this empty parking lot and that abandoned building right behind me are going to have a lot going on. APD is planning to make this old Kmart into their new HQ for several reasons.
There are structural concerns with that old building. It's about 100 years old, and it would require a lot of money and effort to answer those structural issues. Mechanically, there are problems with the HVAC system, that is aging in there as well that would require significant investment. And then functionally, there is just no more space for the growing needs of our police department.
Now, demo is slated to start fairly soon, and they project that they will be done and ready to move in late 2018, early 2019. But until then, reporting in an empty lot that soon won't be so empty. John McMichael, KRBC, Abilene's local news. Back to y'all.
Okay, John, thank you. And renovations will hopefully be in the future of the old Lincoln Middle School after a local group expressed their hopes of turning that property into a place where community can gather. It would be called Abilene Heritage Square and would be home to a library, a coffee shop, even a place for concerts. The project not off the ground just yet, but the organization in charge of the plans did win support from the City Council, which would be donating the building for the project.
And people love this plot of land, and they have a lot of memories associated with it, and you know, I've even been quite surprised by the response to it.
Lincoln Middle was home to the old Abilene High School. The group wanting to convert the building picked Abilene Heritage Square on purpose, keeping the initials the same.
Action being taken toward building a new city water source. The Cedar Ridge Reservoir will cover more than 6,000 acres on the Clear Fork of the Brazos River. The City Council is looking to hire an independent contractor to perform an environmental impact statement. With the recent drop in water across the lakes in the Big Country, this has been looked at as a potential solution to bring more water into the area. The reservoir is projected to hold more than 70 billion gallons of water, but the first step is getting a permit to build, and that process will not be done until 2020.
Allows us to build that reservoir, build that dam, dredge that channel, store that water, back the water up and store it.
The project will cost more than $190 million, and once started is expected to take 3 years to complete. The city has also has to prove that we need the water. Protesters are one of their main concerns. Coming up on First at 5, something different will soon be taking to Abilene skies. Floating in this weekend, the 23rd annual Balloon Fest. What you can expect from this year's event.
And there's more rain coming our way tonight and Friday, but your weekend should be mostly rain-free. Good news for the balloons and all the rest of us. Abilene's local news continues in a moment.
This is KRBC, Abilene's local news at 5.
With Samantha Jones and Chief Meteorologist Randy Turner.